Let's talk about homeschooling with an eclectic approach. What does that mean? Basically, it means that this is somebody that's comfortable picking and choosing from a variety of things. You're going to pick your math, you're going to decide which history, you're just going to kind of go across the board and choose the things that make sense to you. I would say that this is a method that's great for people who are probably farther down the road of homeschooling and have a greater awareness of what's available and what works for them. I think if you are coming at this out of nowhere, you're a brand new homeschooler and you don't really know, I think that this is harder because once you are trying to look at all the different subjects for all the different grades that you have, that's an awful lot of material to try to absorb and figure out what you want and figure out how to put it together. So I would say not as much of a recommendation for the newbies. And I've talked about that in other videos. But once you do have a handle on what you like, what works for your kids, what programs are your favorite, and how to alchemize all of it together, it can be a wonderful thing. And with this approach, you can use just about anything. You can use, a little bit of unit studies and some wonderful books. You can start with something like how I've talked about how we liked sunlight, and we used that for like our history and literature, but we also had a different science that we appreciated, and we also pulled in our own art and music stuff from something else. And just, it can kind of go like that, where you have your kind of hubs and then your spokes of things that go with it. And within this approach, it can be as relaxed or as, strict, or I don't know, strict isn't the right word, but you can kind of, you're in charge of it. Nobody else is setting the pace for you. And of course, you're always in charge of your homeschool, but you have a lot of flexibility for how you're going to set it up and when you're going to do things. So it can offer a lot of freedom and flexibility, which is a wonderful tool, but only if you're really ready to drive that car, if you know what I mean. Some of my favorite resources just in general, if you are pulling from many different things, Brave Writer for all things literature and writing. My site, enrichmentstudies.com, which is great for pulling in just the joy and beauty of art and music in your everyday life without it having to be something that you actively teach and grade. I love Singapore Math for younger kids. It has a really cool way of approaching math that I think helps kids understand math concepts great.